13th. It's a Monday, and I'm just taking a look at what I gotta do tomorrow. I cleaned this out. Well, I didn't clean it out. I took the plants out and harvested the spinach seeds from this sprout, and now I need to go ahead and clean it out and everything and plant something new in there. This is my basil plant. It has a stickum in it because I was getting little gnats, and the stickum is taking care of the basil. You could see where the plant, I accidentally planted or touched the leaf to the stickum, and so it got stuck on there permanently. So that stuff works. I have this Coleus. I've tried to grow the Coleus from Aerogarden 3 times, and it finally worked. So I'm so excited. This one's really easy to propagate. At least in the past, I thought it was really easy to propagate. So I'm hoping to turn that one plant into 3 or 4, you know, later in the year, whatever, when it gets warmer out and the plant gets outside. I planted this curly parsley on March 7th. And then same for the mint, which is just crazy. Look at that plant, y'all. It's so big compared to this, and it was started on the same day, as was the lavender back here. Started on March 7th. And then there's a thyme plant back here. That one was started back on January 11th. Look at my tomato plants. Here is, these 3 plants, 1, 2, and 3 were in this garden. 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna have to check my my gardening journal to see if I have that date right. Maybe that's when I don't know, because that's a lot of growth for what, 9 days or so. And then, but okay, so here's my berries crazy tomato, cherry tomato. And I started this on 3/27, it says. This one's further along, and it looks to be taken to the soil very nicely. And then finally is the Beefsteak tomato, which I started on, looks like March 27th. And this is my smallest tomato, at least that I've transplanted to these cups by far. But it's healthy, so I'm not gonna complain about it. I know what you're thinking, why did I plant them in these big old cups? Well, because tomatoes have little fur on them, and so when that fur on the stems, and when that fur touches dirt, it grows roots. And so you want there to be as many roots as possible. It makes for a stronger plant. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of fuzzy. So I'm just gonna keep filling this cup up and up and up and up as the plant grows. And then by the time I'm ready to plant it outside in this permanent container, it will have this much space as a root base. So, and I've just been keeping it up here, keeping them up here so they can get that cast off light from the Aerogarden. I have this Quadrato bell pepper. I started this on March 12th, and that's looking really healthy too. Oh, look it, and that I don't know, I don't think I can show you, but this needs some more soil as well. It's not like the tomato where you can plant it really deep, but for whatever reason, yeah, there you go. For whatever reason, it has some roots coming out, so I can add some more soil to this. Awesome. So we got my green apple cucumber, and I started this on April 4th. And it's just a wee thing, but it's healthy. And then here's another Aerogarden that has in it, this is Kale. This is purple ladybug choy back here. And what we have here, these are collards. This is a regular bok choy, which is just insane. I planted all of these on the same date. Look how much bigger that one is than all the rest of these plants. And then I have another kale back here. That's a kale in the back. I think I said, yeah, this is a collard. And then this is another kale. I don't know why it's been so slow, but it has been. But it's nicely rooted, so I'm just gonna leave it. So my pepper plants had some really emotional times lately. I don't know when, I don't know how, but my water pump had gotten unplugged, and I don't know how long it was unplugged for, but I didn't notice it until this plant, and this is a whole plant. Here, and I'll move this out of the way so you can see it. That plant, which was as big as this one, was dead. All the leaves on it there was no bringing it back. So what I did was all the way back, and I mean all the way. But I'd seen in many forums where people had done that with like tomatoes and other types of veggie plants, and then had it come back in the Aerogarden. I think that's pretty hard to do in soil, but evidently when you're doing hydroponics, it's not uncommon to be able to make that work. And what do you know? It started coming back in. I've got, little sprouts all over the place here. And even, I don't know why, it's decided to put out another pepper. I don't know why I decided to do that, but you can't, And then I got some leaves coming in over here and here and here. So I imagine in, say, 3-4 months, I'll have me a nice full pepper plant again. Surprising. I can't believe how resilient they are. All right, in this sprout, I was trying to use it for my seed sprouting tray. And let me try to raise the light. And once again, I was trying to grow marigolds in these pods, and it's just not working at all. I'm gonna leave them, but they're starting to get some kind of fuzz on them. I'm gonna use some peroxide on a Q-tip. Well, I already have been. I keep a Q-tip over here with a little peroxide that I'm trying to treat it with to, contain that fungus or whatever that is. From messing up the plant. All right, and here's my little makeshift closet garden. Let's see. Here we have a petunia that's doing great. What I do with this whole thing is I just rotate it every morning when I get up. Ooh, I almost cut myself on that. I just rotate it every morning when I get up, and that seems to be working. All the plants are growing in it, so yay for me. When it gets more stable, warm outside, then I'll move it outside. But for now, it's doing just great in here. I have a couple plants that did not make it. I tried to start some spinach from seed, and it got to the point where it made 2 leaves and then quit on me. And same over here. So, and then I had some old parsley seeds that I threw in the 3 pots that are down here. None of them germinated, so I will make it 6, because there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4, 5, and 6 on the other side. So I'll have 6 spaces that I can put some more plants in from the Aerogardens. Probably will be more herbs, but that's later, And here's some mint that started in the Aerogarden. And it's crazy, you know, these were growing like weeds when they were in the Aerogarden, but the minute I put them in soil, they almost went stagnant. Like, well, it seemed to me stagnant. But then, you know, now I can tell that they've got some growth on them, and they've been growing. It's trying for me to trim this again, this mint. And the dill has finally gotten acclimated. I have 2 dill plants in this thing. It's finally acclimated itself to the point where now I'm starting to cut it again to dry it out, to, you know, put it in a shaker and use it or whatever. Most recently I used it in, what did I make? Oh, an egg salad, and it was so good. It was marvelous. It tasted so good. So I'm really glad I did the dill, and I actually want to do some more plants, knowing that it grows a little bit on the slower side. Let's see, moving on. Up here I have a Thai basil that I haven't harvested yet. I will though pretty soon, because I want it to be bushier, and I kind of like the size that it's at now, because I do plan on putting something in the center here at a later date, but that'll be once I put it outside. And here's another petunia. The flowers died out on it recently, but this is doing just great too. And moving on, here's another dill plant that is doing great in here. Gosh, you guys, it smells so good. It really does. It's so great. And then here's a 3rd petunia plant. And I pulled some dead flowers off of it. Oh, here's another one I missed. But it's flowering as well. It's doing great. It's thriving right here in the this stackable planter I got going on. So this somehow also got those little black gnats, and I'm guessing that the soil that I bought online must have had these gnats in it. But again, I put those I put one of those sticky traps in it, and it's working great. I mean, look at them all. Some of them are still alive. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, sorry, little buddy. And this, I had parsley right here, but I put this plant out in front of the window one day because it was so sunny and it was just perfect, and I thought it would be great to start, you know, getting the plants to harden off a little bit. And I only put it out there, I'm gonna say, for, I don't know, a few hours. Well, it turned out a few hours was too long. The plant almost immediately died. I mean, it wasn't the next day, but the following day I had come in here and it was just a fallen over mess, and I was like, oh, okay, so I have another space where I can put a new plant at, and hopefully I can put some more curly parsley there, but I'll be a lot more careful with it this time. And then over here I have some cilantro, which is doing great. I've been harvesting on this quite frequently because I'm a cilantro freak. I could just always find a reason to put cilantro in something. It's the same with like parsley. I can find a reason to put that in something as well. And then we're back to the dill and the petunia. Wow, that was a long video, you guys, and I didn't even cover all of the plants that I have. If you made it the whole 15 minutes, thank you for your time and attention. And as usual, please like and subscribe. Have a good one.